And we're all yours.
Oh my, this is such a joy. I get to do two beautiful ceremonies with you today, and or this month. The what we did last week, and we are doing our version of a burning bowl this week. Now just welcome in that divine light energy, which I'll be sharing more about shortly. And it is just such a, how can I say it? I'm just moved to the core to be able to be with each of you today. You are just such a wonderful, beautiful group of people. And this connection, I can feel the connection. I can feel the love. Even when I would speak in different ministries in person, you can feel the energy of the group. You can still feel it online. You can feel the energy of the group, and your peace and your love for all that you are, the wholeness that you are, the way you honor the earth, the way you honor the indigenous peoples, the way you honor other religious paths it's right after my own heart. If I took you on a walking tour, which I don't have time to do, of my house, you would see it is filled with these symbols of the different religions. And because I have been a student of world religion since my college days, and just love the gifts and the beauty of each path. But I also know, as we know in unity, there are as many spiritual paths as there are people and beings to practice them. So here we are together, joining in a particular ritual that's been a part of unity for a very long time, but it's actually a very ancient ritual, and it is the release of our limitations. The prayer from Charles Fillmore that opens the service, I let go my mortal limitations. Well, that's exactly what today is about. That's how we find our peace. We get past our mortal limitations and realize who we really are in the midst of all that is happening in our world. And we're going to talk more about what is happening in our world and how we are a part of it, how we can be a part of of the healing process of it. We're going to talk more about that next week. Today, we are going to get in touch with peace through recognition of who we really are. And to do that, we are going to do this burning bowl service in a little bit. I want to tell you what I have. You will have time to write down and dispose of your paper in any way you want to. There's a long meditation video, at about 10 minutes. And you will have time to go into the silence, to write down what you want to release, and then to either find a way to release it or to commit to releasing it later. And there's several ways to do that. The way I am doing it today, and I know you don't have this set up, but by the way, one way you can do it, you can go to your kitchen, take your little paper, light it up, and drop it in the kitchen sink. So, if nothing else, just, that simple thing. Today, I have my burning bowl, which is one of our kitchen pots. Okay. All right. I have the candle. Okay. So to be the symbol of light. And this bowl is the one I will call you back with at the end of that 10 minutes. Okay. And just to be on the safe side, I have water standing by. I have had enough experience with burning bowls over the years, and I know you always have to have the extinguishers standing by. Okay, and my paper. I tore some out of my little journal here. Okay. And I tore it up. And we'll cover this later, but torn edges burn better. And the smaller the paper is, the better it will burn. I tried burning a larger piece earlier. The whole piece didn't burn, so I had to keep lighting it and lighting it, just as an experiment. So if you can tear into small pieces, and you can have more than one piece if you want, that would be a good idea. So at the very least, having paper and something to write with will do you well when we get to that part of our service. In the meantime, I'm going to find the share screen here, and there we are. I am that is our, let me put the program on the slideshow. Let's see, slideshow. There it is from the beginning. And I have to say, okay, that the information is safe, so we can do it. All right. All right. So I am that. And and now, how many of you have ever looked into a clear night sky? Winter is particularly poignant in its clarity. Looked into a clear night sky and just felt yourself expand into the whole universe. Because that is what we are. That is what we are. I am that. And so whatever is happening in our world, the first place we go to address it, our world, our relationships, our personal lives, the first place we can go to address it is I am that. I am that I am. I am really all of this. So that's what we're getting in touch with today. And Susan Gannon, I did not see your hand last time. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to ask Susan to do the first reading because I promised I would put her down and remember. If I don't see your hand, because there are only so many faces up on my gallery here, if I don't see your hand and we get to, there's only 1 or 2 readings today, but if we get to a reading and you want to just jump in and start reading, please feel free to do so. But Susan, would you please read our first passage from the very first verses of Genesis?
In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Genesis 1:1-3.
Awesome. Now, what is amazing is that the physicists, the astrophysicists, have told us that the first measurable quality of our universe when it was given birth from nothing to everything, and it went from nothing to the soup of everything in a matter of 10 to the minus 49 seconds. But the first measurable quality of the universe was light. The first thing that were able to measure that took them back. Now we know about dark matter and all of those things, and we're still learning from the Webb telescope that's shifting and changing and expanding our awareness of what is really so about our universe. But the first quality was light that was measurable. And a little bit about that. In the book of Genesis, we see the word created. And this particular word, bara, in Hebrew, means coming from nothing. So in the beginning, when the earth was a formless void, to truly create means to come out of that pure, silent stillness that is within every being. That is where we find peace. My wonderful teacher and Maya, you remember him, Ed Rabel, one of my wonderful metaphysical teacher, said that silence is pure power. Silence is pure power. So within nothing is the potential for everything. So when we do the burning bowl, what we're doing is we're putting ourselves into that place of power, of nothing. We're clearing the way to come to the stillness and silence that we all are. And then we have the potential for everything. Light comes from the Hebrew or like iron ore. Meaning light, it means the light of day, the light of heavenly luminaries, the light of the dawn, the light of life, the light of prosperity, the light of instruction and guidance. These are all part of that Hebrew meaning. That's the thing about the Hebrew language. Each word, even each letter, has a holistic meaning to it. So the word for light has all of these meanings. Okay, so the first light of the universe. Let's look at what the first light was. Now, the astrophysicists, what do they call it? They call it the cosmic microwave background, or CMB. Cosmic microwave background is part of the first light. It is the oldest and brightest light in the universe. It dates the universe. It helped them date the universe at 13.8 billion years, although the light they're getting from those distant galaxies might have them dating the universe a little earlier. So it's, or have the universe be more expansive and older than we know. So we'll see. We have yet to see on those things. But what science has been able to discern, what physicists have been able to discern, is that it began with gamma rays. We still get flashes of those in the night sky that are seen through telescopes. Gamma rays to X-rays to ultraviolet rays. Ultraviolet means it's so deep on the blue end of things that you can't even see it. To blue light, to red light, to infrared light, and that's going deep into the redshift to where you cannot see it except through special instruments. And it's the infrared light that has helped us see all of the distant lights in the universe. And it goes all the way to the microwave. By the time the rays of light get to the microwave, we can't see them with the visible eye. But what goes on in your microwave oven is a lot of activity every time you push that button. And it's the kind of movement at the atomic level that actually transforms the atoms in whatever it is you've put in there. From 273 million degrees of the gamma rays above absolute zero to 2.73 degrees above absolute zero of the microwave. This energy, atomic energy and light, cooled and cooled and cooled, and then coalesced when it cools, just like water molecules do. They move from vapor to raindrops to ice. The cooler they get, the more they coalesce. So the atoms of the universe did the same thing. And photons clustered into atoms, which formed universal objects and systems that are still detected today. So one way that we have been able to still detect with common instruments the light, the atoms of light, or the photons that are moving in and around us all the time. One way we detect them is if you've ever seen snow on your television screen. That snow on the television screen is actually your receptor picking up the photons of the universe that are all around us. And, or if you've heard the static when you're going from signal to signal on your radio, that's part of the sound of those atoms moving through the universe, out of which that we're all part of the Big Bang. It continues. We are permeated. You know, Charles Fillmore called it substance. We are permeated with this light of our being, because this is what we were created from. I had a dream a long time ago, and it began when I was out in the universe somewhere. I can't even pinpoint it, but I was surrounded by these columns of light. These columns of light, just infinite columns, infinitely expansive, up and down. And I realized that each column was a being, was an entity, a being. And as I realized that, I saw myself form into a ball of light and go shooting through the universe to Earth. And then I woke up, and there I was. And it occurred to me that this is what we all are. This is our true nature, expanding into the universe, just as the photons that began the universe we're swimming in them. We're permeated by them, just as they are all around us. So we are expansive into the universe itself. So who would like to read Carl Sagan's quote? Carl Sagan, that old atheist.
Matter is much older than life. Billions of years before the sun and earth even formed, atoms were being synthesized in the inside of hot stars and then returned to space when the stars blew themselves up. Newly formed planets were made of this stellar debris. The earth and every living thing are made out of star stuff.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that is you. You are truly made of star stuff. It's, by the way, it's amazing how two of our quotes today, two of our magnificent quotes of what our nature is, of what our very, non-physical, non-solid nature is. Not non-physical, but non-solid. Are from astrophysicists who are atheists. On the other hand, both of these gentlemen have come to know the cosmos so well, the universe so well, that I believe that is their spirituality. That is their spirituality. All right. So here are some more quotes of the cosmic connection that we have. Here's the other one I was speaking of. We are all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, and to the rest of the universe atomically. And that's from Neil deGrasse Tyson, a current well-known astrophysicist. Deepak Chopra has told us the larger quantum field, the universe, is your extended body. So you don't stop at the end of your flesh. You expand as those columns of light in my dream into the whole universe. And then from my book, the body does not keep you from unity with spirit. It is in unity with spirit, and through spirit, in unity with all life. Okay, so that's the spiritual language of it. That's the spiritual language of it. So we are light. We are light. All right. And being light, being expansive into the whole universe, not only do we encompass all that is around us, we are all that is around us. So you can look around your room right now and the objects in it, and you are that. My husband took on this practice, by the way, for the new year, to look at all things, the good, the bad, what we call good and bad, and everything else, and just to practice saying, I am that. I am that. I am, I'm looking at I have a picture of Jesus to my right over here. I am that. I have a picture I have a statue, actually, a statue of Shiva to my left over here. I am that. And looking around and to the books and the objects in this room, I am that. And beyond, to this house and to my relationship with my husband, I am that. And you might expand, let yourself expand to your community, to all the people around you in your community. I am that. To all of the events and activities happening that we hear about on the news, I am that. I am that. To the moon, you see the moon in this picture here. I am that. You are all of that. You expand into that. So do our thoughts and our prayers, are they effective? Do they send out that vibration that touches even in the deepest places where they're needed? Absolutely. Absolutely. I am that and more. And wait till you see this image of more. So this is from the James Webb Telescope as it looked into the heart of the Milky Way galaxy. And it is an amazing illustration of what we are. Not only are we made of the star stuff, from the stars that went into supernova, millions of years ago, we are that. We are the stars going into supernova. We are the nebula in which stars are born. We are the distant galaxies. We are the countless forms of the universe. This is something that mystically ancient human beings have sensed since they became aware, since they had awareness. They sensed that they are more than what they know themselves to be. So they found ways to embrace all that we are and bring it into the tangible realities of life. And one of the main ways they found was in the discovery of fire. And there's Maya with her flame right in front of her, the discovery of fire. All right. And the fire, being the biblical interpreter that I was for so many years, I discovered that, we are cleansed in many ways. And there are symbols of cleansing in the Bible. One is water. Water cleanses, it renews us through cleansing. Water is the symbol of renewal through cleansing. Fire is the symbol of renewal through transformation. Because what happens to something that goes into the fire, that goes into the light? It literally transforms. It doesn't go away. Nothing goes away. It transforms. The wood, as it gives itself to the flame, actually the atoms and molecules of the wood are sent out. They're sent out into the atmosphere, into the ethers. They transform. They do not disappear. So what is it that happens to us? At death, we transform. We're sent out into the universe, into the atmosphere. So the ancients got in touch with things like this from the beginning. And if I need to move my gallery here to see the 3 illustrations on the right side, if you need to do that, it's an easy thing to do. You just drag it over. But you can see the large fire where the embers of the fire are shooting out into the sky, and where you can hardly tell what is an ember and what is a star, between the embers and the stars. So fire lifts Earth's elements to the heavens and has been used in many religions to lift our prayers to the Great Spirit. Fire warms the home and cooks the food, nourishing the body and the soul. This is fire when we control it. Fire can get out of control too, and that's when it is destructive. But even in the destruction, new life can be found, just as the fire that opens the pods of the pine cones. And without fire, those pine cones don't open. So even in the destructiveness of fire, in fact, the Shiva, I have a Shiva Nataraj. Gosh, I have my computer all hooked up, or I'd love to show it to you. The Shiva Nataraj is the Shiva dancing in the circle of fire. And Shiva is in Hinduism, the god of creation and destruction. As a cycle, his dance, he keeps spinning and spinning from creation to destruction, and new creation to destruction, and new creation to destruction, because with all destructiveness comes new birth. And Shiva is surrounded by a ring of fire, the Shiva Nataraj, the dancing Shiva, and bringing light to the darkness and peace to the troubled mind. This is what our candles do for us. Our candles, if you just look at a candle flame, you can feel the peace coming up from within you. Just by looking at the flame of a candle. There are some, I've been in meditation rooms where everybody sits around the edges, their pillows, sitting pillows. Everybody sits around the edges, and all there is a single candle in the middle of the room. Okay. So, the light of spiritual renewal, the fire of transformation, is an outer expression of the light of spiritual renewal that radiates from within the heart of every soul. So I'll say that again. The fire of transformation is an outer expression of the light of spiritual renewal that radiates from within the heart of every soul. We can bring any condition, circumstance, or relationship into this light and find peace. This, if I was a healing physician writing you a prescription, I would say, give it to the light. I'd write on the paper, give it to the light. Whatever is troubling you, put it into the light. Some time ago, I was having a conflict with someone in my life, and it was a conflict. The person was dear to me, but I didn't know what to do. So I talked to my dad, who was a minister at the time, about it, and he said, well, have you tried putting her in the light? And of course, you know, here I am, a unity minister myself, and I'm like, duh, you know, putting someone in the light that you're having a challenge with. So I started this practice. Every day in my meditation, I would hold this person, and I began to see her as luminescent. I began to see her as like an angel in my life, where she had been a great adversary, actually, you know, spreading rumors and doing things to try to destroy who I was, who, at least that was my perception. So when I started seeing her in the light, I started relating to her like she was a being of light. Oh my gosh. And guess what happened? It transformed the relationship. She went from, you know, what we would call a nemesis in our judgments, in our limited judgments, to, she went from an adversary to an advocate. She stood by me. She stood up for me. She said, and what she said at one point, she said, I have just been waiting for you to fully express yourself in who you are. And our relationship totally transformed. So we can bring any condition, circumstance, or relationship into this light and find peace. Even if the relationship itself doesn't transform in an outer way, just to hold someone in the light. Every time we think of them, every time that problem, that thing comes up, put it into the light, into the light. This can be done in quiet prayer or periodically through the burning bowl ceremony. And that's what we're going to do in just a moment. We do have to allow some minutes for it. We may not have the full 10 minutes, but I will make sure you have time to do what there is to do. And if you want to do the burning or the tearing up after and just sit quiet and still in our quiet time, that's okay too. So you can see from, I borrowed a picture from Unity in Palo Alto of somebody burning, being too hard on myself. Okay. And it is whatever there is in you that stirs up your mind and troubles you and gives you a sense of anxiety or contraction and blocking from who you really know yourself to be. The burning bowl ceremony. Oh, you know what? Who would like to read this? Would anyone like to read this? It's just simple instructions for the burning bowl ceremony that we will delve into in just about 2 minutes.
I can read it.
Okay.
The burning bowl ceremony is a releasing ritual that involves burning or releasing a small piece of paper. Use a small scrap of paper, maybe 2 inches by 3 inches. Do not use an entire sheet of paper. Tear it off a larger sheet. The torn edges catch on fire easily. Write with a pen or pencil. For burning, use a lit candle or a lighter. Have a device or setup for a small fire. If you don't have a crackling fireplace going, consider what you'll need to have ready in order to burn a small paper safely. For example, You can put it in a cast iron pan and burn it outside or over the stove with the exhaust fan on. A candle can also provide ambience and focus. Other options are write on paper that can dissolve in a bowl of water and watch it dissolve. Sorry.
It's all right.
Tear your paper into small pieces and release them with great relief and enthusiasm.
Some instructions say, you know, throw them in the air, but there's a little cleanup after that. But you can tear them or just and put them in the trash or throw them in the air. You can do that as well if you do not feel safe doing the actual burning. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, I'm going to, in just a few seconds, I'm going to turn on a meditation video. And we're going to take a few moments to write down what it is we would like to release. And then you're going to find some way to release it. Now I'm going to give you, given what I'm looking at, I'm going to give you 5 to 7 minutes maybe to do this. And if you are not done with your release process, you might want to set the paper aside and dispose of it later. The video, I have tried to find a way to subtly move on from the video, but if it's still playing, it may be a sudden cutoff. But I will let you know that's coming by ending our meditation time with the bowl. And I will at least give you time to write things down and maybe a few extra minutes to dispose of them, even if you have to walk into your kitchen and do it. But when you hear the bowl, please return. Okay, everybody clear on what you're doing, on what you're releasing? All right, we're going to move to our next video. And here it is. Okay. Can everyone hear that music? You cannot hear it. You can't hear it?
No.
Oh dear. Well, I don't know what to do to send it to you, but at least it gives you the visual. So take time now, even if you are, can you see it? Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Good. Take time to silently contemplate what it is you want to release and write it down. I'm going, it may interfere with my voice. Well, anyway, it's a beautiful visual. So let's take a deep breath and just see yourself in this image. The light of renewal and transformation in the heart of your being extends itself out into the universe as you release, 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 and let go. right, I'm going to move to the next slide as we breathe deeply and return to this moment. That bowl, by the way, that meditation bowl that I use has Ganesh in the bottom of it. And Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. So there we go. We have released and let go. And we can now claim this for ourselves. Let's all read together from the top to the bottom here. Together. I am that. I am poised and centered in the Christ light. I am eternal and unlimited. I am free of self-imposed limitations. I am at peace. And so it is. Thank you for being with me today. Our final slide, just in case any of you want my information or want to get hold of me, the second one is my email, and it's very simple, laura@laurabennett.com. Thank you all so much. And I'm going to stop the share now. And there we are.
And I stopped the recording.